Hey time travelers, I got a different kind of video for you today. Ranking random tech that my son found around the house. I got the idea from a channel he watches called Bren Daniel. For example, ranking gems by how tasty they look. And I thought it was funny. And also the idea from Charlie randomly saying to me, can I go through this drawer, see what kind of tech I can find? And then walking to me and saying, what is this thingy? What's this port for? What is this called? And just going through all this random stuff. What did you say when you first saw this?
It looks like a big hunk of plastic. This is really sweet. You can just pop the cartridge in. It has a bunch of strings. Ports on it that I don't know what it is.
Those are controller ports.
Oh. You can put 4?
Yep. You
can get all of your friends that you have had for a long time.
Nintendo 64 game console. It looks more fun than it actually is. Well, actually, it's lots of fun for loads of hours, for months, and then it suddenly isn't. At least that's how it was for me. 8 out of 10.
And we got an original PlayStation, which this is really satisfying. There's a memory card port and a memory card port.
It's missing the port that goes right here like my original one had. They took it away because people hacked the PlayStation through it. A PlayStation console that someone gave me because they found out that I had to get rid of mine a long time ago. They're like, have this one. 9 out of 10. It would actually be a much higher score if it was my original console because it did have that port in the back. But I love to use the Game Shark to hack my games after I beat it, the regular way. Well, at least most of the time. Do you have any idea what that is?
No, not really.
That's a graphics card. A really, really cheap backup one for when a computer was misbehaving, and I would grab that and test it. Backup VGA graphics card. I only needed it like once or twice, actually. I give this one a 3 out of 10 because it was only 100% useful once or twice. And yeah.
This is your Raspberry Pi. It has a micro... What is this port?
Just SD card, not micro SD.
No, like the charging port. I forgot.
Oh yeah,
Mini...
USB-B micro.
Okay. You can tell it's cheap because of that. And also there's an 8GB SD thing.
Unknown Raspberry Pi model from 2013. 2014? I can't remember. Just like I couldn't remember, it's called USB Mini B, not micro. I actually used this as a media center for like 2 hours. And then I started just running a really long HDMI cable all the way from my laptop to the couch. This one, for me, 1 out of 10. I used it once. All that effort to build it and to install an operating system on it and to try 3 different operating systems and to find the right Wi-Fi adapter that it supported.
This is the PSP, which my dad has been playing around with a few times. And he's been staying up for too long, so...
Yeah, sad face.
Like, almost 4 a.m.
Dude has been telling me it was bedtime.
If the child tells you that you need to go to sleep, it's definitely you should go to sleep.
Sony PSP. Don't let its techie, sexy looking self fool you. This thing is not as useful as it seems. It gets your thumbs all cramped and is awkward to play games that require any dexterity at all. Because if you have giant man hands, you can't actually... Never mind. I give it maybe a 2 or a 3 out of 10 because I used it for a little while and my son had to tell me to go to bed because I was trying to beat that freaking game and I just got to give up on it and because it's just so... Before the next item, a quick word about our sponsors. I'm a small YouTube channel, just started this year actually. And YouTube has this thing called an algorithm to determine whether or not my video gets promoted. And that uses views, likes, comments, and subscribes. So if you get subscribed and watch this whole video to the end, it helps me a lot. If you see something you want to comment on, please do it below. If you like the video, like it. Actually, I go back and look at these things and it helps me determine what kind of content to make next.
This is a 32 megabyte SanDisk SD card.
Yep, megabytes.
32 megabyte.
Not gigabytes.
Megabyte. This is like 5 cents.
32 megabyte SanDisk SD card. I had a blast shooting pictures with this back in the day on my question mark megapixels digital camera from Samsung. At least I remember that part. I don't remember where I keep those pictures anymore. They're somewhere. Obviously not on that card because it didn't fit very many. 8 out of 10. It was useful and fun for its time.
I don't know what is this?
It's a wireless controller for PlayStation 2.
Oh, that's why it's such a... Oh, it kind of has a grippy bottom. Oh, that's why it looks so weird.
The Logitech? Maybe? Infrared wireless PlayStation 2 controller. I give it 3 out of 10. Because you could use it for like 3 hours before it started getting sticky. It has grippy texture on it that sucked all the stickiness out of the room. Not just your hands. Any stickiness you had on the room, even if it was on the ceiling, it's now on the controller. And by the time you were, just really getting into playing your game, your hands were like on the controller. If you see this white stuff all over the controller, it's because I tried to clean it before I filmed this. And it's kind of still gross right now, and I don't care, I just threw it back in the box.
Then this is a PS2 remote. You can see it has a triangle, a square, a circle, and an X button. And also, I bet this works as a movement thing. And also, there's another wireless thing on it.
PlayStation 2 infrared remote. I give this one a clear 11 out of 10. Wherever my PlayStation was, I always made sure I had one of these. Because I've listened to music, watch DVDs, stream things from my server. Because as soon as I figured out that you can run this one program to play your movies that you stored wherever, I ripped all my DVDs and put them on a server and had good times. Oh yeah, good times.
Then this is one of my dad's modded PlayStation 3 controllers. It's black with red generic buttons on it.
And the buttons light up. And the first time you saw that particular one...
Oh, that's sweet.
First time you saw this one, do you remember what you called it?
Evil.
Good memory. One of my modded PlayStation 3 controllers that Charlie randomly picked. I give this one an X out of 10 because it's a variable, an unknown variable. You don't know how awesome it is until you use one. That's how awesome it is, apparently.
Is this an amplifier?
Nope.
What is this?
It's like for recording and playing back from the phone to my computer and from my computer back to a phone.
That's why it has a headphone jack on it.
My cell phone to and from computer thingy for what's it? I never actually gave it an official name. I rate this an infinity out of 10. Even though I only used it once and it took me about 16 hours or so to build it. The idea was I could record a live voice call to my computer or play something from my computer into the microphone port of my phone. And that's what I used it for. I made a ridiculous voicemail with my voice overlapped to make it sound like a car salesman, commercial. And everyone hated my voicemail and people stopped calling me and I finally got some silence. Infinity.
Well, this is one of his wireless mouses that you need a dongle to actually make it work. And also it uses AA batteries. It feels a bit better than my dad's other Logitech mouse, his other red one. Except you can't really scroll this very quickly.
Yeah, I should get a dongle for it and just give that to you, I think.
Yeah, this is a lot nicer feeling.
The Logitech M505 Unifying Mouse. My introduction to Logitech's unifying technology. It's great range, great battery life, and it's totally awesome, but its dongle is super tiny and you'll lose it really easy. But that's my fault, and I've actually done that 3 times somehow. Sad face. But I rank this mouse a 9 out of 10, and if I can find another dongle, I am giving it to Charlie, because it's a sweet mouse.
This is a old gun controller thing. Mashup, what's it?
It's for PlayStation 2.
Yeah, I saw 2 on it. I was thinking about that. Like, these are shoulder buttons, I'm pretty sure, and also these. This one's kind of lame because it only supports older TVs.
The Namco GameCon gun controller for the PlayStation 2. I rank this a -1 out of 10. It has so many things wrong with it. To start with, it's a light gun controller. The kind that goes flash, 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 flash. It makes you want to freaking die or have an aneurysm? No, what am I thinking about? Epileptic seizures. That's it. That kind. I can't stand those kind of light guns. But I've always wanted to try one to see if my disdain for them was justified. But I never thought of buying one. Someone just gave it to me and I was like, here, bro, use this. And I'm like, I don't have that kind of TV. You can't use it on a flat screen TV. Why did you give me this?
And also, I found a Galaxy S Sprint 4G what's-it in one of his cupboards. We found the mouse in it, and also, like, the 32 megabyte, and also a bunch of other SD cards.
Samsung Galaxy S. The first one. The original, you might say. I was visiting family in Arizona, came back to Ohio, went to see a movie. It was Transformers, actually. And this was a commercial that played before the trailers. And I saw that phone, and I said, I want that phone. It broke the mold, you might say, in its Breaksys rating system. Because I give it a 50 out of 10. Because I used that phone for as long as I could until I couldn't. It had so many improvements over my previous Samsung Moment, like it booted in minutes instead of what seemed like hours, and it loaded programs instead of not loading programs, and it had a better keyboard and everything. I would keep using that phone today if phones didn't have what this thing they called planned obsolescence. But I won't be getting into that. Actually, let's go back to past/filming me for the outro. All right, thanks to Charlie for giving me the idea to do the ratings and also poking around my house and finding random things. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I've been Robert Gene.
I've been Charlie McDonald, aka Elemental Plays.
And please give us a like on this video to support the channel. Bye.
Bye.